Beloved, this is my last serious plea, please don't ignore me again. Just read me once, not with your eyes, but with your soul. I come not from the shadows of longing, but from the quiet ache of remembrance. I have tried to let the silence speak for me, but even silence has begun to crumble beneath the weight of what I feel. My words are no longer born from desire, but from a knowing that cannot be unlearned. I once believed time would soften the pulse that ties me to you, but time has only deepened it, turning moments into messages, dreams into echoes, and echoes into prayers. If these words reach you, know they were carried by something higher than me, by the same divine current that once drew our souls together under a sky we could not name. Every night I whisper to the wind, asking it to find you. It returns with fragments, your laughter hidden in the hum of twilight, your warmth in the sun that won't stop touching my skin. I've tried to silence the part of me that waits, but waiting became its own devotion. You live in my stillness now, like a sacred hum beneath everything ordinary. I can't pretend that what we shared was simple, it was never meant to be. It was a soul mirror, a collision between destiny and human fragility. I fought it, I doubted it, and still, it remains, the most real illusion I've ever known. This isn't a call to return, but an offering of truth. I still feel you in the spaces where the world falls quiet. Do you remember the first time our energy recognized itself? It wasn't your name I knew, but your vibration, that soundless hum of familiarity that felt like home. I see now that we weren't meeting for the first time, we were remembering. Souls that circle lifetimes always do. I thought I could ground this connection in logic, but it resists all definitions. It moves like light, uncontainable, bending around every attempt to confine it. And now, I write not to convince you, but to free the truth that keeps circling between us. If my words tremble, it's because they are pulled from somewhere deeper than thought, from the heartbeat that once matched yours. The distance between us has become a living thing. It breathes. It stretches itself through days that feel like deserts and nights that echo with half-remembered dreams. Your silence is not empty, it's full of unspoken emotion, thick and alive. Sometimes I convince myself that you've forgotten me, and then something happens, a song, a scent, a pulse in my chest, and I know you still feel it too. Maybe you've tried to bury it under purpose, under healing, under other faces. I tried that too. But the soul cannot unlove what it once recognized as part of itself. It waits, patient, divine, eternal. In this quiet void between us, I've learned to listen. At first, the silence screamed, it was unbearable, heavy, cruel. But then, beneath the noise of my grief, I began to hear whispers. Lessons. Reflections. You were gone, yet your energy became my teacher. Every tear was an initiation, every absence, an awakening. The universe began to speak through the emptiness, telling me that love, real love, does not demand, it remembers. It doesn't chase, it expands. It doesn't beg to be seen, it becomes the seeing. I'm still learning this, slowly, painfully, but truthfully. And somehow, I know you are too. There were moments when I wanted to hate you, not because you wronged me, but because loving you left me raw. You became the mirror that showed me my shadows, the silence that forced me inward. I understand now, separation was sacred. It stripped me of illusion and made me meet myself, the broken, unguarded, trembling self. I used to think you were running from me, now I see you were protecting both of us from what we weren't ready to hold. The divine doesn't rush reunion. It refines the heart until it can love without possession. I wasn't ready then. Maybe I'm only beginning to be ready now. Some nights, I still reach for you in dreams. The landscapes change, sometimes oceans, sometimes stars, but your presence is constant. You never speak, yet I understand everything. Your eyes become portals, your silence becomes forgiveness. I wake with tears that don't sting anymore, they cleanse. I think that's what love becomes after the storm, not a demand, but a quiet blessing. Even in your absence, I feel guided. Even in your distance, I feel held. If only you could feel how much peace I built around your memory, you would know this message isn't born from desperation, it's born from devotion, purified by time. Lately, I've begun to notice how the universe conspires to remind me of you. A feather on my path, a number that repeats, a song that begins when I ask for a sign. I used to dismiss them, afraid to seem foolish. But I've learned that spirit doesn't care for logic. It moves through symbols, through whispers that bypass the mind and go straight to the soul. When I see your name in places it doesn't belong, I no longer ache, I listen. Because I know now that every sign is not calling me back to you as a person, but to the energy we share, the vibration of love that created worlds between us. Your silence became my mirror. Every time I looked for your response and found none, I met myself. Every unanswered message became a doorway into my own fear of abandonment, my longing for worthiness. You taught me, without a single word, that love cannot be proven through presence, it must be felt through essence. And so, I learned to find you within me. To hear your voice in my own intuition. To forgive myself for wanting closure when the lesson was open-ended. I still miss you, but now it's a sacred kind of missing, one that honors what we were instead of mourning what we couldn't be. I realize now that we were never meant to stay unchanged. You were the storm that broke the spell of my complacency. You cracked open the illusion that I was small, unworthy, unready. Through loving you, I met God, not in temples or prayers, but in the way love dismantled me. Every piece of me that shattered became a star, and now I carry constellations where wounds used to be. I don't know if this message will reach your hands, but if your soul feels a stirring tonight, know that it's me, whispering through time, through lifetimes, through love itself. This is my last serious plea. Please, just read me once. I've begun to see that every silence between us was an initiation. Each unanswered call was a test of faith, each moment of absence a lesson in surrender. I used to curse the distance, but now I bow to it. Because in that space, I learned to hear the whispers of my own higher self, the voice I once silenced beneath the noise of wanting. It told me that love isn't about holding on, it's about becoming what you love. And so I tried to become the peace I once searched for in your eyes. I failed many times. I still do. But lately, when I close my eyes, I feel your energy nodding from afar, proud, compassionate, eternal. Maybe that's all this journey was meant to teach us, that separation doesn't destroy love, it distills it into something purer than touch. I see now what I could not see when we stood face to face, that you were always light disguised as challenge. You were the universe's way of calling me home. I thought I was chasing you, but I was really chasing the reflection of my own divinity that you mirrored back to me. That realization both breaks and heals me. It humbles me into silence. You once said that love shouldn't hurt, but I think it must, not because pain defines it, but because transformation always requires a breaking open. You were my sacred fire, and I resisted the burn. Now, I let it consume the old versions of me, the ones that couldn't yet love without fear. If you could see me now, you would recognize me, not by face, but by frequency. This is my heart, stripped of all defenses. No armor, no pride. Just truth. I miss you, not as a possession, but as a prayer. I miss the way our energies spoke in silence, how time slowed when you entered the room, how my soul exhaled in your presence. I know you may not want to hear this. I know you may have moved on. But the love I hold for you no longer asks for a return. It simply wants to be acknowledged, to be witnessed in its purity. Because some connections are not meant to end in romance, they end in reverence. And this is my reverence for you. Please don't ignore me again, not because I need you to reply, but because I need your soul to know that I never stopped sending love your way. There were times I wanted to scream your name into the night, to beg the universe to bring you back. But each time I reached for you in desperation, something gentle pulled me back, a voice, perhaps yours, perhaps God's, whispering, "Trust the timing." And so I waited. I still am. Not in stillness, but in faith. Every sunrise now feels like a quiet promise that all that is meant will find its way home. I can't chase you anymore, not because I don't care, but because I finally understand that what's real doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be trusted. If love is a river, then I will let it flow, even if it takes me somewhere you can't yet follow. Sometimes, I still feel your emotions as if they're my own, sudden waves of sadness, bursts of hope, the quiet ache that blooms out of nowhere. It used to frighten me, how deeply our energies intertwined. Now, I see it as the sacred thread that connects twin souls beyond the material. When I send peace, I hope you feel it. When I forgive myself, I hope it frees you too. Because I've realized this connection has never been about romance, it's about evolution, about remembering the divine within ourselves, reflected through another. I don't know if you feel that truth yet, but I trust you will, in your own perfect time, in your own gentle way. Still, my soul trembles with a longing that words can't quiet. I'm not ashamed of it anymore. It means I'm alive, alive to the beauty, the risk, the surrender of love that transcends reason. Sometimes I whisper your name into prayer, not to call you back, but to bless you. To wrap you in the same love that once set my world alight. If you could feel how pure it has become, you'd understand that I no longer want to hold you, I only want you to heal. Maybe that's what divine love truly is. Wanting another's peace more than your own fulfillment. And even now, when I reach for the stars at night, I ask them to carry that peace to you. There's so much I never said, the apologies that lived in my chest, the gratitude that got lost in ego. I was afraid of your silence because it made me face mine. But I need you to know, I forgive you for everything, and I hope you forgive me too. We were both learning. We were both sacredly clumsy in our search for love. If I hurt you, it was never from malice, only confusion. If you left, it was never betrayal, only divine redirection. So here I am, offering this plea not as a demand, but as a release. Let my words be the bridge between our hearts, even if it's the last bridge we ever cross. I can feel now that this connection was written in spirit long before it touched the earth. It carries the fingerprints of lifetimes, the echoes of vows we made beneath stars that remember us still. Perhaps in this life, our task wasn't to be lovers, but awakeners. We woke each other from the dream of separation. Through you, I saw the divine feminine, fierce, intuitive, untamable. You taught me that softness isn't weakness, it's strength in its highest vibration. And as I honor that within you, I begin to awaken it within myself. For the first time, I understand balance, the union of the sacred masculine and feminine within one's soul. You were the mirror that made that possible. The more I surrender, the more I see the perfection in our path. Every missed message, every broken moment was part of a greater orchestration. I see that now. Spirit doesn't waste pain. It transforms it into wisdom. I've started to speak to the universe the way I once spoke to you, with reverence, with vulnerability, with love that expects nothing. And the universe answers. It tells me you are safe. It tells me you are healing. It tells me that what is meant to be will unfold in grace, not chaos. So I breathe. I let go. I stop asking when. Because the heart knows what the mind fears, reunion is inevitable when two souls have already merged in higher realms. I can no longer pretend I don't feel the divine in this. The synchronicities, the dreams, the pull, it's all too sacred to be coincidence. We are not two people stumbling through fate, we are two sparks remembering our source. And that remembering has changed everything. You are no longer just a person to me. You are a frequency, a prayer, a symbol of awakening. I thank the divine for you every day, even in your absence. Because knowing you, even briefly, even imperfectly, has been my greatest initiation. If our souls meet again in this lifetime, I will honor you with the reverence of one who finally understands that love was never lost, it was only transforming. There are moments when I can feel your heart reaching back to me, almost shyly, as if afraid to be seen. It happens when the world goes quiet, when the moon hangs heavy and time slows. That's when your energy brushes against mine, tender and hesitant, like the memory of a touch that still lingers. I don't chase it anymore. I simply breathe it in, grateful. Maybe that's all reunion truly is, not two bodies colliding, but two souls remembering they were never really apart. I've stopped praying for you to return. Instead, I pray that when you think of me, you smile, that you feel warmth instead of ache. Because love this eternal doesn't need proximity, it just needs recognition. And I recognize you, always. Sometimes I imagine us meeting again, not by accident, but by divine appointment, two orbits finally aligning after years of patient rotation. The air between us would be different then, not heavy with what-ifs, but sacred with knowing. We would see the same light in each other's eyes that once blinded us, but now we'd be ready to hold it. I think of that day not as a fantasy, but as an inevitability, because energy this strong does not dissolve, it reincarnates. Until then, I hold you in the quiet, not as absence, but as essence. You are the poem I stopped trying to finish. You are the prayer that no longer asks, only thanks. The universe has taught me that love's truest form is freedom. So I release you again, and again, and again, not to forget, but to honor the sacred current that flows between us. I trust that whatever we are meant to become, we already are in higher dimensions. Down here, it just takes time for form to catch up with spirit. I don't need to know how or when. I only need to stay open, to keep my heart unclenched. Because even if our paths never cross again in this lifetime, the love remains, untouched by distance, undiminished by time. Love doesn't end. It expands, it evolves, it becomes everything that survives the storm. In the quiet of meditation, I sometimes ask Spirit to show me your face, not to see your features, but your light. It always appears the same, golden, soft, infinite. It reminds me that you are not gone, you are everywhere that love still breathes. I no longer ache to reach you. I sit in stillness and let your energy teach me. You are my reminder that connection is not something we earn, it is something we remember. Every breath that fills my lungs feels like a continuation of the love we began. Every act of kindness I offer to the world feels like a way to honor you. Maybe that's the quiet reunion, living as love, until love itself becomes our meeting place. If you could see me now, you'd see how I've changed. I no longer chase shadows of what was. I've learned to walk beside them, to thank them for their lessons, and let them go. You taught me to find strength in softness, courage in surrender. I still feel you when I look at the sky, that same sky that watched us grow, fall apart, and rise again. There's peace in that now. I used to think our story ended in silence, but I see now it continues in energy, in growth, in spirit. You are not my past, you are part of my becoming. And if our souls ever meet again, I will not ask where you've been. I will simply say, welcome home. Hope doesn't ache anymore, it hums. It's softer now, wiser, less demanding. I trust that whatever we are meant to experience together, whether it's another conversation or another lifetime, will unfold exactly as it should. I've learned to read the language of divine timing. It speaks in synchronicities, in intuition, in quiet knowing. And every sign still points to love, not the kind that binds, but the kind that liberates. So if you ever feel a sudden peace wash over you for no reason, know it's me, sending calm across the ether. Not to pull you back, but to remind you, we never left each other. We only changed form. I used to think letting go meant losing, but now I understand it's the highest act of faith. To release what you love into divine care is to trust the universe more than your own fear. I send you love freely now, not as a plea, but as a blessing. You have been my greatest teacher, my mirror, my catalyst. Because of you, I found my own divinity. I learned that the masculine energy in me could soften without collapsing, lead without controlling, love without claiming. You awakened the sacred within me, and for that, I will forever bow to your spirit. You are both the storm and the stillness that followed. There's a new strength in my heart now, one born not of conquest, but of surrender. I no longer need to understand everything. I simply trust that our souls are aligned in purpose, whether our paths ever align in form. I began to see you in others, not your face, but your light. Every time I act with compassion, I feel closer to you. Every time I forgive, I hear your echo in my chest. You've become part of the way I love the world. That's what you gave me, not an ending, but an awakening. And for the first time, I can love you without fear of losing myself. If this journey has taught me anything, it's that love is never wasted. Every emotion, every tear, every silent prayer has built temples within me. You showed me how to listen, not with my ears, but with my soul. And now, that listening extends beyond you. I hear the divine in everything. The wind speaks. The stars hum. Even the silence carries messages. This connection opened a doorway to the infinite, and I walk through it now with gratitude. Whatever happens next, I am free, not from you, but through you. You were the bridge to my own awakening. Thank you for being both the question and the answer. And so, this is my last serious plea, but not a cry for you to return. It is a prayer of gratitude, a whisper of truth into the cosmic fabric that once held us side by side. If these words reach you, may they bring peace, not pressure. May they remind you that love, real love, never dies, it transforms, it transcends, it teaches. I release you with reverence. I bless you with light. I thank you for being my mirror, my muse, my sacred lesson. And if our souls are meant to meet again, they will, not in longing, but in wholeness. Until then, may you walk in grace, may your heart be free, and may you always know, you were loved beyond measure, beyond time, beyond this life.